Hey guys, welcome back to Inspired Man Podcast, and I hope you had an amazing new year. And on that note, if you do enjoy this podcast, please like and subscribe if you want good luck for the next 10 years. I mean it. To those of you who's wondering who this guy is, well, my name is Arpan, and I'm from the BTS. Well, not the South Korean boy band, but behind the scenes, and the handler of the Inspired Man Podcast. So without further ado, let's bring on our guest. He's the CEO of the two biggest YouTube channels. Please welcome Jatz Naran.
Before we get started with today's podcast, I have a quick favor to ask. 92% of you watching this podcast have not subscribed yet. In order to help me bring on bigger guests, if you have learned anything from any of my podcast episodes, please subscribe to this channel. Thank you and enjoy the episode.
So most people don't know about you and a bit of your school life. I know you've never talked about it that much. So today we're going to talk about that.
Yeah. I'm going to actually go deep into every single stuff related to school. And I'm going to try and give as much knowledge or kind of backstory of how I normally say I came in the UK in 2010. I went to school, this and that, then uni, but I never actually have sat down to tell my exact story of how I have gone through from like year 7 till all the way in year 12 or 13.
So after you came to the UK in 2010, I believe, how was it?
Well, I came in 2010, that's right. I left year 5 halfway in India and I came here and I was supposed to go in year 6. But when I got a letter to go to year 6, I just couldn't be asked. So I told my dad, I'm not going to this halfway through. So technically, I didn't do the entire year 6 in my whole life. I straight came here in the UK. I didn't go to school for 1 year. So in around 2011, halfway, I think 2011, when the school starts, is when I started going to year 7 directly. So I had a whole gap. And in that gap, when I came in the UK, all I was doing was playing Farmville, Barn Buddy. These are all the games on Facebook back in the days. It was every day, open the laptop, play games. And technically, that was I don't know why I said technically, but that was the phase where I also learned a lot of English because I didn't know how to speak English properly. So all I was doing was go on Facebook, speak to my cousins and just do the chat messages back and forth and allowed me to actually learn a bit of English. So that was what happened once I arrived in the UK for a year.
That similar situation happened to me as well because when I came here in 2011 and then I joined school. Actually, what actually happened, so when I was picking schools, right? So they tell you to pick 5 schools near you, okay?
Yeah.
So one was Wembley High, one was Alberton, one was Copeland. I don't actually remember. I think Arc Academy, was it there? I don't remember.
No, Copeland is Arc now.
No. There was one more.
Oh, there's another Arc Academy.
Yeah. So I don't know
yes,
if it was there in that time. And there was one more, which I don't remember. And then one of my mate, so he tells me like, Wembley High, it's so like, oh, it's dangerous, like people get stabbed, this and there. So I used to like, oh shit. I was like, oh shit. Like I was shitting at that time. I was like, I was praying to God. I was like, please bring me to Alberton. So I ended up being in Alberton. And so they put me in this, because I was new. So they wanted to see how I do and shit. So they put me in this completely different room. I was there for like 2 months, you could say. And then, I see. So I came in, I did year 6 and I skipped the whole year 7 because here the year 7 was finished. I straight jumped to year 8.
Oh, so you missed the whole of year 7 as well?
Yeah, completely.
Well, you missed year 7, I missed year 6.
Yeah. So, well, similar, story. But yeah, and I didn't know English as well. So basically you could say I was quiet for I didn't speak much for you could say good 6 to a year. Nothing. Mute. I was mute. I was just observing and shit because it was completely new. And then they put me to different classes, and then the maths class came. And that's where we actually, so I enter and that's where we actually met and stuff. And how was it for you, like all coming into the school, and how was it for you?
I think when I first entered my year 7 form class, I still remember it was the scariest moment of my life because I wanted to make sure I at least sit next to someone who is maybe able to communicate in the same language, which was Gujarati as me. So it will make my life easier. But the funny part was in my class, not a single person was one of my friend who I had in my entire school, like from other classes. None of them were in my school. And what was worse is they had a seating plan and I was sitting next to a girl. And so the moment it got announced that I'm sitting next to a girl, from that day onwards, I put a mute on my mouth until like year 9 when I was in that form class. As soon as I entered in my own form class, I'm not saying a word. Not a single word I would utter. So it was an experience which I feel like many people who come from other countries have, because it's scary. Plus, you don't really want to speak, because if you speak, you might sound a bit dumb. Well, technically you are dumb because you don't know how to speak English in the first place. But also you're just scared because people are different. People are not the same as the way they were where you come from. So in India, when I was in classrooms, it was all chaotic, same language. So it was different. But I think as I went through year 8 and year 9, just like you said, I was observing. So in my class, I would always observe the way people communicate with each other. How do they talk? And then I started to implement those stuff. And I think one good thing about me was I would observe, but then I would also implement, maybe outside of my form class. So in year 7 and 8 and 9, yes, in my form class, I'll be mute. But whenever I go on lunch break, I would have my friends who I used to play cricket with. And I would start speaking to them sometimes in English. And I would try and speak in the same way as the way other students were speaking in my class. And that made me a lot better in English. So that was my kind of experience in 7, 8, 9, I would say.
You could say we've been in same class, like together, like for almost every subject. Well, most of them, you could say.
Yes.
Most of them. So we've always sat together and like always like helped each other in a way. And we've also competed a lot as well.
Yes.
We were each other's competition.
We were. And I think I'll go to the story of when we met first. I still remember, I think before coming into math class, you were in the playground, we were playing cricket.
Yeah.
And I think that's when we first saw you. And I'm like, oh, this is a new kid. And you were not coming to any of the classes because, as you said, you were, I think, going in one room to just learn and stuff. So when I saw you, I'm sure I was like, yo, come sit here, because I saw you in the playground. So that was the moment when I'm like, oh, this is just a normal kid. He's just come from India. So it's going to be a normal day for us to just keep doing work. And I remember, I think his name was Mr. Dullah, I think.
Mr. Dullah, yeah.
Mr. Dullah, yeah. He gives him the sheets. And he was a funny teacher, but he gives him the sheets. And me and Bhavik, we would never complete it because we were so dumb. And you know what's crazy? It was actually multiplications and divisions, right?
Yeah.
Basic stuff which year 6 or year 5 students can do. But me and Bhavik, we were so stupid in maths, we didn't know how to do it. So I'm here sitting there trying to figure out the first, second question. And then you're there like, sir, done. And I'm like, that was the moment I'm like, what the flip did this guy just do? Like, he just completed a sheet which I'm not even going to complete in my entire lesson. He just completed in 2 minutes. And that's the moment I kind of was like, okay, this guy has something in him. And fast forward to end of year 8, where I have learned some bits from you of how to do multiplication, how to do division, how to do subtraction. By the way, he was the guy who taught me all of these things. And then you got moved to set 4 halfway through year 8.
Yeah.
That was my biggest turning point before I even moved to year 9. That turning point allowed me to actually be like, if he can do it, why can't I do it? And so I started to do all the work in class. I wouldn't still revise. I would just do all the work in class and get it done. And then year 9 came. And in year 9, my whole focus was just becoming sick. And I used to get best marks out of the whole class every single time. And then I'm like, okay, so I'm getting there. And I became so sick. I could do all the questions so fast. Everything was, I'm like, holy crap, this is something weird happening with me. But I think it was that competitiveness, which was like, if he done it, I can definitely do it. So then comes year 10, 1 year later, I get moved to the same set as you.
Yeah.
And then we sit again next to each other.
Yeah.
And then we started competing with each other. And I'm like, I remember, I'm like, this was the guy who actually taught me everything. Now I'm competing with him. And I think it was year 10. Yes, year 10 moved. But then in year 10, we were still competing with each other. And then we got moved to set 3 in year 11 after we done so well as well. And that, I think, literal competitiveness in me is what's allowed me to kind of do so well in life as well, because the thing with me is that I love competing, and that competitiveness comes from proving people wrong. And so in a way, it was like to prove you wrong that yes, I can do it. I don't know if that was the kind of intention back then, but I think that's what drove me to just do better in maths. And then came IGCSE and A-level maths and all of those stuff.
We'll talk about that. So what happened? So when I got moved, it was actually very lonely, not gonna lie. I was like, yo, shit, like I'm in a different set, like different people. Like the guy I used to sit, like we used to do like workout and everything together, like it's gone. So I was completely like alone there. I actually don't remember who was next to me. I think it was Nirmal, I think.
Yeah, he was
there. Yeah, but it was still, it was still not the same because we were there for quite long. So, and then you moved up. I was like, yes, let's go. Finally, someone who I can talk to. And then, and then I think because I missed that competitiveness, then I started also putting a little bit of more effort. And then all of a sudden comes, we get introduced to IGCSE maths by Miss Sharma.
Was it year 10 or year 11? Year 11.
Yeah, I think it was.
Year 11.
Yeah. And then we're like, okay, we'll do it. And then what happened is like, I saw a little bit of like change in you. I could see like something's changing here. Like what is happening? Because you started with more effort and all of that shit. You were completing sheets and stuff when you used to get it. I'm like, wait, what's happening here? Like, yo. And then I was like, cool. And then when we used to go home and stuff, I was like, shit, I need to work hard because China's putting in effort and shit. And then I was like, and then I started putting more effort and shit, but then it was still not as much as you were putting it. So how was your IGCSE period? Because I know.
I think so. The first turning point was when you got moved in a higher set. The second biggest turning point was that year 11 phase, because I think I still have a picture of my grades in a mock exam of that same year, and then my final exam results. I failed all subjects in my mock, but I passed all of them in my final. The main reason was, I think, in year 11 when we were introduced to IGCSE, maths was something I was so dumb at, but suddenly I became so good in my sense. For me, getting a C in maths was like getting an A, because this is a guy who didn't know how to do subtraction, even see how the clock works or anything like that. And then being able to kind of do fractions and everything in like seconds and be this good, I'm like, holy crap. If I can do this in this, I can definitely do I can implement this in all the other subjects and I can probably pass all of them. So then I knew if I wanted to do this, I just need to follow the exact same structure of what I'm doing in maths, which is go and do past papers, learn and understand why and how does each question work and blah, 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 go understand the basics of it and do that in other subjects. So I just started working really hard. I actually would spend, after coming back from school, I would spend like time eating and then start revision for like 2-3 hours non-stop, then go sleep. Again, repeat. Every day was just come back home, revise, come back home, revise, come back home, revise. That was a phase when like all that FIFA phase was finished. Because before that, year 10 was come back home, play FIFA, come back home, year 9, come back home, play FIFA. From year 11, I think I have not, that was the year after that year, till now, I haven't played FIFA like consistently every single day. It would be every now and then, like maybe once in a month or maybe once in a year sometimes. But that was the phase which changed kind of the whole turning point of my life entirely, of working hard.
Well, I can't relate with FIFA because I played every single FIFA you could say, and at least like quite a lot.
Yeah.
But like, I still
FIFA is another example as well of like competitiveness within us two as well, because I was better than you at FIFA. I beat you once. Then we had a tournament. We had a bet. The bet was that if I win the kind of, we were playing a season on of reversing each other. If I win the season, he has to put a Facebook tweet or status, saying Jatin is the best. And I actually won that. I won that even though he was actually a bit better than me in that phase. And then I stopped playing, and then he became so much better.
So when we did that competition, I know I was better than you for sure, but I don't know what happened in that moment.
It's under pressure. I was
not under pressure. It was just not working my way. Like nothing was going my way, and all of a sudden you win. I'm like, no way this guy just won against me, like after all this time I've beaten him. And then I was like, come. So I specified it in this Facebook tweet, like, so Jane is only better than me in FIFA 13, only, and then that's it. But yeah, anyways, moving to the IGCSE period, I remember the results day. Results day came in, my heartbeat was racing, and then we see, I open mine, I get a C. And then you open yours, you get a B.
And I jumped. I screamed.
You screamed, and I was there like, yo, like, I'm looking at my table, I'm like, I should be happy because it was hard. It was one of the hardest ones because it was international, right?
Exactly.
So I should be happy, but then I was not happy. Like, and then I was just thinking, and you got the B. So I was like, what the hell just happened? How did this guy beat me there?
Yeah.
And then I just kept questioning. I'm like, why am I sad? Like, I should be happy. Like, I should be happy. But then obviously in that moment, it was difficult because you beat me. So how was it for you when you got the B?
I think, see, when I got that B in maths, I never even I'm saying I was not competing with like you or other friends we have had. The only one person I was competing with back then was Pankaj.
Okay.
So that was my competition after you, because then I got moved. I think I was more working with Miss Sharma, this and that.
Yeah.
And Pankaj was always grinding. So he became my competition. And the person I wanted to beat was Pankaj. And we both got the same grade, B.
Yeah.
So if I go a C, I would have only been sad if Pankaj got a B and I go a C. And I would have felt the same because it's normal to feel that.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, it's like, you know, there's a saying, it's like when both people are working the same and doing the same thing and they're together and then one person achieves something else and then one person doesn't. Yes, you are going to be happy for that person because you've liked them, been with them for years, but you're still going to feel a bit upset or sad. So for me, it was like the happy moment. I was like, yeah, you know what? The person who was smart as well, like Pankaj was really good because he was ahead of sets of us.
Good, yeah.
And he was really good at doing maths and everything related to that as well. So I'm like, you know what? Cool. If this guy is doing this well, I need to make sure I catch up with him and do as good. So when I got that B and kind of matched his level, I'm like, I achieved it. And if I go a B, Miss Sharma said she would let me do statistics.
Oh yeah.
So no, we all got to do statistics.
Yeah.
She said if I get a B in stats, then she would let me do A-level maths. Yeah. And so that became my ultimate goal.
Yeah.
After that, there was no competition. It was competition with myself to achieve that B. That's all I wanted, and do A-level maths.
No, I mean, that after that moment, I was like, you know what? If there's any person I could have been happy for, it was you. So I was like, it's cool. We'll take this. And then moving forward, like, then the sixth form came and all stuff. And I, like you said, the change was happening. And then I could see the changes all coming and I'm like, something's triggered in him, like something has changed. So obviously, I'm more of an observer guy. So I was observing and shit. So I see you putting in more effort and I like doing stuff. And then you chose A-level business.
Yeah.
So, and then you start putting more effort. Like every time I see you, like revision. I'm like, yo, Jane, what's up? He's like, yeah, bro, I'm, just revision shit. But then there was something about you which people were attracted to they were attracted to. Like every time I see you, like people are like, yo, Jane, this and that. So like you were always surrounded by people. So did you ever felt like you have this attracting aura towards you?
I think, so that's a hard question because I've never really sat down and be like, why do people always become attracted to where I am? It could be a thing within me. It could be the way I talk. It could be just a energy I'm giving out to people that they feel attracted towards me. But I have felt that sometimes when I'm in a kind of an event or a party where people know, like we know each other, we'll just have conversations. And I think I don't really know the real answer to that, but I think it's just something within me that when I am there, maybe I'm just always bubbly and kind of joking around, and I always know about every single person's life because I know them more about, I try and know more about their life than them because I'll be able to connect with them a lot more. So maybe I connect with a lot more people through that, and then they feel a lot more connected to me. Maybe that's the way, but I genuinely don't know the answer.
Well, from what I remember, you're one of the strongest people there. So they must be like scared of you. But
it could be that as well. It
no-
could be your brand, the image you have
Yeah.
created as well. I think that could be the answer. It's like my image was never one of those nerds, or it was never one of those like guy who's so weak, who's no one wants to be a friend of, and like it was always like a good image, not the best or worst, but it was a good image. So
Middle.
people want to be, and it's like in today's world, it's all about status or status. People want to be around big people, or people as in following wise, or they have a good kind of in the community and everything like that. So maybe that was the case. People wanted to be around. Could be.
Yeah, makes sense. But and then moving forward to like micro tyco game.
Micro
And
tyco.
then yeah, Miss Pindura came in like, yo, you guys have this opportunity, this and that. And then we create our own group, obviously, because I think you were in different side than you had your own
I was
group.
in A-level business, and
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
mainly given to you guys because of maths and B-Tech business.
Yeah.
Were given the opportunity mainly.
Yeah. And then yeah, we were all in the groups and stuff, and they made you a team leader. I was like, again, okay, something's ticking again. Like they made you a team leader because there were other people as well who were good in your group.
In my group.
Yeah, there were people who were actually like team leader worthy, but they ended up choosing you. How did you feel?
See, all my memories of micro tyco, I still felt like every person in my group was like a team leader on its own. We never actually guided each other. Be like, oh, you do this. In the sense, we knew what each person had to do, so we done our part, and that's what made our group the best, because we were never like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. And that's why we all worked synchronized well. Like I was doing all the designing / all the taking care of like everything happening here. And those lot would actually put in the actual work, which is, let's say, doing a car wash or getting sponsorships or doing bakery stuff related. So the part within me of becoming a leader, I never looked myself as a leader in that actual team. But I think the one reason why I may have been chosen to answer the question, chosen to be a leader, is because Miss Pindoria always, I don't know where I spoke to her. Yeah, she was also my business teacher kind of. And whenever I spoke to her and everything, I'll go back to also the thing which I was saying. I would speak to her sometimes about her life rather than speaking about what's happening and everything. So she would see me more of as a mature kid. And people always saw me a bit mature than I was. Like at 16, I would talk like as if I'm 18 or 19 years old. So maybe the maturity was something which led her to choose me as a team leader. I don't even know if I was a team leader because I still don't remember a lot of memories about that.
Yeah, because we had to pick like a group accountable, someone who keep accountability of everyone, right? So I think that's what group leader was. So yeah. So that's what it was. And and then you guys ended up doing some like big event, Discodandia, and then you ended up making like a lot of money. And then I think you guys came second, yeah. But even in that time, it was like, what do you say? Like, it was like,
it was more of like an kind of unusual.
Yeah.
And it's another one thing is like, oh, how did he achieve that as well? Like that?
Not in terms of that. It was, you could set it up that way because you guys were able to pull off the whole massive event and convince our principal, this and that, to get that hall and stuff. But yeah, we had this opportunity, and then we ended up going Deloitte, then I think you guys went first, then we had the opportunity.
Yeah.
But you guys set up that whole
expectations,
big bar of expectation, because you guys earn like 3-4 grand or something
from just the event. We done like 1.3 profit or something like that.
I think around 3-4k, and so we're like, oh shit, we gotta like do something. So my group, we were trying to obviously do our best to get. We also ended up coming second with not as much as you guys made, but we made decent. And then you had opportunity to go into West.
Interserve.
Interserve. And you were the only one who got chosen.
Bro, now thinking of all the things like only chosen.
Yeah.
Interserve was the craziest moment of my kind of, in school. It was the craziest moment for me because, as you said, from the whole school, only I was chosen, or every single person of us who went. I think only our group went and I was chosen. from around 20 people, only 4 or 5 were meant to be chosen, and I was one of them. And I still remember we were all going Deloitte, and we were going on the train. We were catching the train to go Deloitte, and all of these guys from my team were like, "Oh, I got an email saying I got rejected. I got rejected. I got rejected." I'm like, "Oh, I mean, I haven't got one. I probably got rejected as well, so don't care." I just let it go. Then I was like, "Cool." I was never expecting to be chosen. And then I still remember I was in the study room, which we had in school, and I just got an email from Interserve. I clicked on it, like, "Congratulations, you have been chosen." And I'm like, holy crap. I couldn't believe that, I got chosen for this. And it was a paid internship as well, which was a big thing. As I think 16-year-old, going there and making money for 1 month, working in a big company was a big thing. And to go deeper into why I got chosen, I think one reason why I got chosen is because when I was in the interview, I still remember I was, one, honest, and secondly, I was just telling them exactly what I have been through, what I've done, this and that. So when they asked me, like, what's your past story, I would tell them about how I came to the UK. I didn't know how to speak English, this and that. And I think they resonated with that so much. They were like, okay, you coming from here and then making it till this far is already something on its own to prove how strong you are in that sense and stuff like that. Maybe that was the reason why they chose me.
I think that was one of the biggest highlight, you could say, in your school career, because you got to join a big company,
Yeah, and even on that kind of 1 month period, I got to learn so much, but I also got to go to site visits. Like, they had big contracts, and I would be going there. And the people who were there, who also got chosen, they were from, like, I still remember the guy who I was with, who was a good friend of mine. His grades he got in A-level, and I got my grades as well. For AS, I think he got like A-star. And he was from an academy, like school. Like, our one was a community school, and all of them were from an academy. And I was like, I always felt like, why am I here? Like, I shouldn't be here. These guys are so smart than I am. But I guess, in a way, it was a great learning experience. And I always doubt myself, but I think that doubt is always going to be there, but
to push forward.
Allowed me to push forward a lot more as well.
I see. Yeah. Anyways, to those of you who don't know what micro tyco is, if you would want to explain.
Yes. So micro tyco was a 1 month challenge where you have to try and raise as much money as you can from the £1 you're given in the start of the month. And we were able to generate over a few £1,000s, as long as I remember. And from the whole country in the UK, we were able to generate we came second place. And the way we generated the money was actually by doing cake sales in school, car wash, like washing teachers' cars, then doing a large event within our school, and I think a few other stuff which we don't remember. But I think one was FIFA tournament or something along those lines.
Oh yeah, I remember FIFA tournament. Got knocked out. That hurt. But I wanted to ask you, what was some of the happy moments in your school, like funny/happy, that you remember?
I think because you're just asking me in the moment, nothing's coming in my head. But if I was to think of some happy moments, sports day, as in early sports day would be one of them. I remember, my first ever sports day was absolutely trash. The reason being is because...
Don't tell me about that one.
The reason being is because I was put in 400-meter race. So I was one of the fast kids back in school. In my class, I had other people who I was competing with, but in overall school, I was definitely a good sprinter. So I was kept in 400 meters. Race is about to start. I asked my teacher, where does the race finish? She's like, there. I don't know why she said there, or maybe I saw that it's there.
Yeah.
And I ran. I ran the whole circle, and then where she told me to stop is the line. I was second, about to cross that line, and I'm like, holy crap, I have enough stamina, let me just run. I crossed that line and I was number one. And I'm like, holy crap, I won. I'm number one. And then I'm seeing everyone's still running. I'm like, why is everyone still running? And everyone from the stand is like shouting, like, run. I'm like, why should I run? The race is over. What's the point of running? And then I just started to slowly jog, and I made it till that far, up until the actual line. And I'm like, Miss, is in the line there? Like, wasn't it over there? Like, no, the line was here. I'm like, you are kidding me right now.
Yeah.
I literally spent all my energy and ran this whole thing thinking I came first and I came last. So that was my first ever sports day.
Hey, you came first from the last. Remember that?
Yeah, technically.
Sports day, same thing happened to me. So when we were selecting what do you wanna do this, I was like, 100-meter sprint, calm, I'll do it. And then again, the sports day comes, 100-meter, I'm there. People are standing. I'm like, calm, I'm ready. I'm one of the fastest, because I was one of the fast sprinter. So I'm there. Bang. People start running. I see, the Kwan running through like a rocket. He just runs through. I'm like, yo. And then I came probably, I don't know, something like 5th or 6th. And I was so disappointed. I was like,
second sports day was better for me because I was not in 400. I was in 100-meter sprint. But I wasn't in the Duquans group. I wasn't. Luckily, I wasn't. I was in the second group for qualifiers. And there was, I don't know if you remember Kyrell. He was one of the guy. And one of them was Kieran. And Rushain. So Kieran and Kieran was faster than me. I knew because they were footballers and the genetics, and they're always faster. But I was like, I can beat Rushain because I had beaten him once, right? But because of his long legs, I still remember, when you're about to finish line and you see them coming through it, I'm like, no, let me run faster. But I think I came 4th in that race, and it was definitely better than my older sports day, but that sports day was actually a lot more fun. And then we had more stuff like football and everything after that, but I never actually got any trophies in sports day, unfortunately.
Yeah, sadly, I didn't have any trophies as well. But in India, I got quite a lot of, you could say, gold medals. But
oh wow,
here it was just levels were different. You could say.
I mean, technically, I did win one medal, which was relay.
Oh, really?
So, because we had fastest guys, we had Jay, we had Duquan, we had Aaron, we had. I was the fourth
fastest team there.
Yeah, we had the fastest.
You were
team.
like, Usain Bolts and all the
we were the
Jamaican squad. Yeah, unbeatable. So that's crazy. But coming back to our finishing our school phase, then came through uni life. We had to pick out all the university stuff, writing personal statement and stuff. So which were your top unis? So
the university I chose was King's was the top. Second was Queen's. Third was Surrey, I think. Fourth was Brunel. And last was City.
Oh, I see.
There's a City was the university, so actually it was Royal Holloway instead of Surrey, I think. Yes, Royal Holloway, Brunel, and then Surrey, City. And as I said, City is not the uni I wanted to go. And I remember writing personal statements, went through, we were actually one of the first few people to send their personal statements because Mr. Maddenberg helped us, and that right now is to start sending your personal statements as fast as you can so you can get replies as fast as you can. And I got a conditional offer from Queen's, which was the most what they wanted, even higher than King's, which was they needed A-star in maths and A in business and then D-star in ICT. But then King's came back and they were happy. They were like, if you meet the grades which you predicted, like a B in maths and D-star, you would go in. So that was kind of my dream, which I wanted to achieve, was that get that B in maths and go in King's. And that whole hard work I have put in, like AS, I put in work to get that C in maths. And then A2, I worked not as hard as AS, but I did still work hard to achieve that B in maths. But I didn't. I didn't achieve a B in maths. And that was the first time I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve. So you know how you said, when I got that B, I didn't know what it feels like to not get what you want. Or when I achieved everything, Interserve, Deloitte, Microtyco, everything. The first time, I still remember I came back from India. I was in India. My sister was getting married, I think. It was so then I came back. It was results day. I opened the results and I see I have got a C in maths. And I was broken for few a bit, because when you're in sixth form, you're always in your head is you can't see yourself going to a different uni than the one you have already put in your mind. Like, I wanted to go King's means King's. Any other uni, I don't want to go. If it's not King's, I don't want to go any other uni. But the reality was I got rejected by King's. I gave them a call. They offered me a foundation year, and then I could have in a different course, and then I could have switched to that course and I could have done that route. But then I'm like, nah, why waste a year just because I want to go King's? And so I got accepted in Brunel, I got accepted in City, and I got accepted in, I think, Surrey as well. They accepted me as well. And Brunel was the first choice, which I was like, okay, I might as well go Brunel because all my friends are going Brunel as well. But I don't know what happened to me. City, the university, which I told myself I don't want to go to at all. I was like, no one's going City. No one's going City. It'll be me. Like, I might as well go City, because if I go Brunel, it will be a distraction in the sense that all my friends are there. So in my head, all it was like, if I go here, I will not focus. I know for a fact I will not focus. So in my head, it was all that. And I still had so many doubts, like, about myself. Like, I wanted to go Brunel. I was like, you know what? Let's go Brunel. But then I just rang up City, and I'm like, I went through clearing, and then I just go into City, and I'm like, flip it. I'm going City. And that was kind of the entire ending of my school journey of how, yes, I achieved everything, but I didn't achieve the uni I wanted to go in. But that you not going to that uni is made me reach where I'm today. Because if I never went to City, maybe I would have never done this professional pathway, or maybe when got to this life, maybe I would have been so focused into uni and trying to achieve good grades that I would have not even tried entrepreneurship.
I had the same thing. Like, I wouldn't lie to you. So obviously we were picking, right? We had Brunel. I think I had Kent, Essex, Brunel, and I don't know, but I chose Reading for some reason. And yeah, so, and then I was like, I'm definitely not going Brunel because I know all my like everyone's going there, so I don't want to be again same school life. I didn't want that, so I ended up having like going Kent, did some interview, flopped miserably, and I knew I was gonna get rejected. Then comes Essex, no expectations, got accepted, calm. So I was like, calm, I'm just going there because of that, to get rid of the comfort zone. But yeah, like, it was you could say it taught me a lot because I was living alone and all of that. But you didn't live outside. So did you want to live outside, or?
I think even if I wanted to live outside, I would have not been able to, because my dad would have not let me live outside, because he's really protective in the sense that I want my kids at home. Not one of those traditional one like, oh, I want my kids at home. More like, I would prefer and like it if my kids are at home. So, and I'm really close to my dad. So I chose that, okay, I'm not going to go to any uni outside of London because I want to travel back home. So yes, I did feel like maybe it would have been fun and I would have lived my uni life if I lived outside. But do I regret it? No, I don't regret anything, because I feel like going back and forth, uni and everything, was not the most amazing moment. But it's a decision I made back then. So it's not something I can sit back and cry about or regret. But yeah, that's pretty much.
So I know in school days, we all got pushed like uni. Like, did you want to do uni, or because you did it because of your parents?
So that's a good question. I had been thinking about this entire kind of my backstory since few weeks now. And I've been thinking, I'm like, when I was in year 13, did I have any other dreams which I couldn't pursue because everyone said to go to uni? And I didn't. My only dream was to go to uni because none of my family members have ever been to uni. And I was the first one to even achieve a degree. And so that was my main reason why the only thing I wanted to achieve was go to a university. So when I entered that university, I had no one forcing me to do uni. I had no one telling me that uni is the only thing you need to do. I chose it by myself because I wanted to make myself and my parents and my family proud in a sense. So that's why I kind of chose uni.
So, Mike, did you have any expectations like how your uni life would be?
I think we all have some type of expectations, like, oh, you're going to meet new people, you're going to go to parties, you're going to... No, not parties never came up in my mind, but it was just like meeting new people, making new friends. it was a bit scary because I never thought of leaving your friends and going and trying to make new friends is a different mission for me.
Mhm.
It was back then, for me to think about that. But I think in my entire uni life, because of that thinking, I only made 2 friends. And the first friend left uni in the second year. Second friend left uni in the third year. And in fourth year was me by myself. So that was my uni life.
So you were the last man standing.
Yes, I was the last man standing and I actually managed to pass it.
No, that's something shows like you're strong enough to go keep going.
I don't know how I went through that phase.
And then I remember in your last podcast, because I was just behind the scenes, you said that in your 4 years you went only like 4 times, like lectures 4 times. I don't know if that was an exaggeration or something, but
so it was an exaggeration in the sense I think I meant in the last year of uni.
yeah.
I only went like 4 lectures max.
Oh, I see.
Because everything was also online. And then when it was not online, I mean, in the start of the year, it was offline. So then everything went online because of COVID, this and that. But in my third and fourth year of uni, I think maximum lectures I probably attended was less than 10. In my like 2 years, I only attended less than 10. All I would do is look at the coursework. Okay, makes sense. If I can do it, great. If I need help, get some help.
I think I know what exactly help you got.
Yes.
But we'll keep that a bit secret. Like, so, you know, uni is something like, you're all excited, like, yeah, I'm going uni, like first day, your first year's like amazing uni, like this and that, because it really doesn't count, right? So how was your basically second year? Because I know it must have hit you hard.
So what's crazy is that my first year was the year which hit me the hardest and I put in the most work.
Oh.
Even though it didn't count towards my grade. Can you believe it? So there was except Java, all my other modules, I got over 80%. One module I got, one exam I done, system architecture, I think I got 99 marks out of 100 in that paper. That's how good and focused I was.
99?
99. Yes, because I calculated all my, like how much percentage and I go and everything through my quizzes and then the exam.
Yeah.
And the exam, I smashed it. That's how good I was and I focused in my first year. After that, I think the reason being is because I don't remember the year, but second year was the year when I first read Rich Dad Poor Dad, Secrets of the Millionaire's Mind, is when I started reading these books. And I went to the rabbit hole of self-development, self-education, and kind of figuring out that, okay, if I want to be rich, this is not the path I need to follow, which is uni. Uni is not the path which is going to make me rich. Maybe it would have made me rich in like 10 years' time, but I just want to be rich a lot faster. I wanted to be rich in like 5 years rather than 10, 20 years from now by becoming a software developer, this and that. And I did enjoy coding as well. I realized that in my first year.
Yeah, like as soon as you join, they're like straight on, they jump in, you know, like this. I'm like, yeah, but like how?
Everyone says that you don't need to code before you do computer science. But the way they teach is like so fast that if you don't know anything about coding, it's going to be really hard to pick up. And I think one thing, the problem with us was in school, we were so like teachers would always be there to help us and tell us do this and that. Whereas uni is all like by yourself. So you need to do all that work after lectures, this and that, which we never done because we never had anyone telling us what to do.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, mainly it was, if it's any coding part, as soon as I saw, I was like, I decided not my thing. I was like, not my thing. And I was, just every time coding came in, I was like,
bro, with coding, like I would sit one lecture, understand that. 2 days later, I don't remember how you start. I still don't remember the most basic. You know, when you write public string something, the first actual line of Java, I don't know that as well. It's like as much as I try and remember it, it just doesn't go through my head. Coding is something else.
For me, it was like, I was like, let me give it a try because they say, you know, if you don't try, you would never know. Sat down, you know, tried to go through lecture. I was like, yeah, bro, nothing's going in my head. Go on a YouTube. Yeah, okay. Oh, understanding, amazing. I know. Close it. God. It was just ghosting.
Well, you watch a YouTube video, you think you know it, and then you do an exercise of uni, the exercise uni gives you, and you're like, nope, I don't know anything.
You're trying to do exact replica of like, yo, why is this not working? Why is it working for this guy, not me? Like, so it's just the system based, all that crap. Still hate it. But so you said you started learning in your second year about self-improvement and stuff, right? So were you, like, you could say, lost between self-improving yourself and uni?
When I first read the book, my first thought was, yeah, I need to quit uni. I don't think I should be continuing uni. The thoughts got worse in my third year when I like still had to do uni and do this and that. But I think what kept me going to continue uni was I was doing professional pathway. So City allowed me to do work 4 days a week and go to uni 1 day a week. So that way, because I was getting money and I was getting a degree and I was having more time than what you would have if you were doing uni every single day, going to every single lecture, I had more time. So I was like, okay, maybe just let me use my extra time after work to kind of do the stuff I want to do, figure out this and that. But the reason why the thoughts got more like hate against uni and I wanted to leave in third year, because it was so much work. I would come back home, I would be knackered because my job was mainly talking to customers or clients on the phone. And so mentally I'm drained by the time I reach home. And then I have to open my uni work and try and get that done. And I'm like, I can't do this. So there was a stage where I just wanted to quit. And I didn't do an exam, nothing like that. I failed that exam. But then at the end of third year, that was the only exam I failed. So I'm like, okay, let me resit this. So I reset that in the same year and I passed it. And then next year was my final year. A lot harder than I thought. Luckily, I had my friends who had completed the stuff which I was completing in fourth year because they had finished uni 1 year earlier than me. And the course, the modules and everything, they had finished it. So they were able to help me in that as well. In that way, I managed to pass uni. But the thoughts of quitting uni were there. But I just kept going somehow.
Kept going. What was the career part you got to do?
So the professional pathway is basically a thing which a city university allows you to do, which is you can choose to go to a job where they provide you a placement for 4 days a week, and 1 day a week you go uni, and you do that for 3 years. So first year is full-time uni, second, third and fourth year you do work and you go uni. So that way you're getting 3 years of experience and you're getting your full degree because you have just extended your modules 1 year extra. So if a few modules you can't complete in 3 years, you're just getting 1 extra year to complete all of those modules as well. So the great thing about that was I got to do a job. I got 3 years. I actually, even though I'm just 23, I already have 3 years of experience in a 9-to-5 world. 3 freaking years. I already have a lot of I already have a degree as well. And I have a business now as well. So technically I've done it all, if you think about it.
You could say you've pretty much got the parts you wanted to get.
The thing is, I can talk from experience for my 9-to-5.
Yeah.
And I can talk from experience in the kind of entrepreneurship path as well. So that was one lucky thing.
So because your 9-to-5 was constantly on the calls and stuff, if it was different to if you got to do, let's say your 9-to-5 was actually Interserve, that company is completely different, right?
Yeah, I didn't mention that, but when I was at Interserve, after finishing the 30 days, I told myself one thing: never work in a company where you have to go with suits and boots, and never working for a company in central London. So these are my two things. The reason why I say it, because wearing a suit and going to work is the worst thing as a person you could have to do every single day, because yes, you can look professional, but if you're not comfortable and you're going to sit 8 hours a day and 40 years of your life doing that, that is not me. So I chose from that day, there is no way I'm working in central London in a big company where they will tell me what to wear. After that, that's why when I chose that placement as well, I chose it locally where I can wear clothes which I'm comfortable with. Yes, colors wise, it makes sense. Like if it's all black, I can wear it. But if you're going to tell me I have to wear a suit which is black, that's not me. So yeah, just wanted to put that about Interserve. If you're going to ask me,
because I was going to ask you, like, would you prefer Interserve type job? Because
never in my life. I never ever want to work in a even after Interserve, I finished Interserve. I was like, I want to do a job, but not an office job. I don't know if the job I done was an office job technically, but what I mean by an office job is like where you're surrounded by papers and kind of smart people and talking in the tone of like, oh, we need to do this and basically, when I think of a office job, I more think of like a accounting firm where there's so many papers. Because when I used to go do IT support at one of the accounting firms, when I saw that environment, I would be like, bro, how do you spend 40 years of your life in this room? So Interserve gave me a good example of what not to do in life.
Yeah, because, usually once you go uni, you go to the like all the job stuff and that. But as you can I can see that for you, it was already like decided that you didn't want to go to that path. So what anything else? What were you thinking? What was your thinking process like? That I don't want to go to work. So what's next?
I think so. When I was at the IT job, and I was doing uni, in my fourth year, I made the decision that, look, if after uni I don't need to worry after uni because I already had a job. So after uni was finished, I can just basically start doing full time here. And so the only thing I had to do was start a side hustle or start a business, which can basically allow me to be financially free. My whole goal was to become financially free and be my own boss, so I don't have to work for someone else or build someone else's empire. That was kind of the dream. So luckily, I never had the pressure of, oh, what after uni? What do I have to do after uni? I have to find a job now. Everything was there for me. All I had to do was put in more work every single day to build something on the side. So while I was at the job, I decided to start working on stuff like YouTube. Then I started trying out a few side hustles. You could say dropshipping was one of them. Then property investing was one of them. Funny story, after 1.5 years of working at the IT job, I decided to completely leave the IT job and be like, I'm going to do property full time. Left the job, went to property, realized I need money. And I had no money. I had like £1,000, but you need like £10,000 initially to do something with property. And I'm talking about like HMOs, rent to rent and stuff like that. So I tried that and I was depressed. As in, I tried that in the sense of like, I tried doing that and I couldn't, so I was depressed. And so I went after that to Budapest trip and I came back, I was completely broke. I had like £4,000 in debt because I needed all the money to pay my bills, this and that, everything. I was in debt. So then I went back to my IT job. Luckily, they took me back, started working there again. And then I realized one thing, that whenever you want to build a business or build a side hustle, always make sure you have your job or at least something which is funding you money every single month. So then that is a sense of security for yourself, that if nothing works out in the business, at least I have money which is coming in to pay my bills. So that was a lesson I learned the hard way, but that was kind of the way my thought process back then was just work harder every day from 6 o'clock till 10 o'clock. I would literally come back from work. I would be so motivated. I would constantly keep working, constantly just try and do something to make money, learn something, apply something. But I think in the start, the main problem was I was just taking too much knowledge, but less actions. And so that flipped in lockdown when I started to do more stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what people lack, like, knowledge, no action. Me. But anyways, so during that time, obviously you were reading all the books and stuff. That's why all this change came through, right? And by that time, did you read Atomic Habits? Because
I still haven't read Atomic Habits.
Oh, you still haven't?
I still haven't, but I read a similar book called The Compound Effect. It's not so similar. By the way, I know what Atomic Habits is and what it's about. I've seen the summary already. And that's the next book I will be reading as well. But I read something called The Compound Effect, which is mainly about how you take small steps can compound big over time. It's like have you ever seen the logarithm graph? Like log, it goes starts so slow and then it skyrockets. Basically, that's the power of compounding. And so I was like, okay, if I keep doing some work every day, that will result in a lot of work in a year's time. So that was kind of the way I was thinking, is like, okay, every day I just need to put in this much hours. And if I do this, then I should eventually be able to achieve this goal.
See. So because because I heard a lot of Atomic Habits, this and that. So I ended up getting Amazon Audible,
Yeah.
because they sent me an email. They're like £3, three for 3 months. I was like, cool. So I started hearing it. So I was like, okay, it's quite good, like talking about habits and stuff. So what were the because I know you came a long way reading and stuff. So what were some habits? Like they were talking about habit stacking. So what were some of the habit stackings that you did that put you in the situation where you were like putting effort?
I think for me, I never had good habits in the sense of like, yes, I worked out, but not super consistent. I would read, but not every single day. I would try and meditate, but not every single day. So with habits, since day one, I've never had the best habits. But one thing which was with me, I don't know if you call it habits, was discipline and consistency. Well, consistency is the stuff which I kind of saw results in, like why my hunger was towards. For that, I had consistency. But discipline was the main one. And there's something about me is like, I no matter what I am going through, for the stuff which will make me money, I don't know if that's a way of putting it bad way, but for the stuff which is making me money, I will be disciplined because I have to. If I don't, then I won't make any money. If that's a weird way to put it, but I mean, that's probably a weird way to put it, but I think discipline has allowed me to really achieve everything I've got today, and hard work especially. I always say this thing is like, you might be smarter than me, and it's a quote as well, you might be tougher than me, but you will never be able to outwork me. And that's one thing about me. I will work harder than you, and I proved that in school as well.
Yeah.
And I think hard work is the only thing which has allowed me to become this.
For me, I've always like believed that yes, hard work is there, but obviously you need a bit of like talent as well. But Conor McGregor said that there's no such thing as luck. You have to create your own by working hard. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll start putting in the work and stuff. But then obviously I got to see it live because you were putting in a lot of effort. So your discipline was putting hard work and stuff. And then you started your YouTube journey.
Yeah.
Which was in 2020, I believe.
So I started making money related videos in 2020, but prior to that I was doing like food challenges and funny videos with my friends, which are privated now. They're not there, but it's the same channel which I currently post on. And I started making those videos because making videos was always fun for me. Like even back in school, I used to make YouTube videos. I still remember I used to make like magic trick videos in 3, 2, 1. I would do that and I would vanish and stuff like that, VFX type videos. And that's why I always wanted to do YouTube since I was a kid. And so in 2020 was the perfect time because I started making videos on TikTok, started getting some attraction. Then I'm like, okay, why not make YouTube videos at the same time as well? So then I started making YouTube videos around side hustles, trying out side hustles and kind of documenting how I make money and blah, blah, blah. And so that journey then took off more into like becoming a full-time content creator, making videos every single week, this and that. And so that's been my little YouTube journey until now.
I think from what I know, I think you got triggered because one time at your job and one time you were at a job and you had this customer service call from a client, I think, and they were telling, oh, this is not working, fix this and that. And you got tired of taking all that nagging and all of that. I think that's what really triggered you into going into your own, creating your own world.
What you just described would happen literally every week with me. It was there'll always be that one person who would call and who would just go ham at you. They would speak to you as if you have done this to their computer and that you need to solve it now. Yes, they're paying you money, but at the same time, they don't ever care about you as a person. So that was always like, oh man, I would come home and be like, I love the people at the job. The job was nice as well. But every time you would get that one customer or client who would do this, it would just be like, you know what? I can't handle this. I can't have someone yelling at me, telling me all this stuff, which like the way they talk as well, it makes you deep it. Like 40 years, I'm going to keep listening to this crap, keep doing this for this much money. Yeah, I'm not doing that. So I think that was one of the factors, but never the biggest factor which led me to pursue entrepreneurship.
So your entrepreneurship was never planned.
It was never planned, and never also kind of anyone in my family was never an entrepreneur. I did think back, be like, where does this entrepreneurship thing comes within me from? And I went back to like India. I'm like, did my family ever do anything with entrepreneurship? And I did realize that my family ran like a service-based business where they would have daily subscribed customers for like flowers, milk, this and that, because we had like a farm, this and that. So I'm like, So my parents had that side hustle. They still had a job, but that was their side hustle technically to make more money. So that was their kind of business there. So I'm like, okay, kind of makes sense why I could have this thing of thinking big and making more money. So that kind of comes from there.
I think you've always been a creative person, like from what I've seen.
From
in the
creativity, yes. Like, I would always be designing, and on Photoshop, I would be doing stuff. And then I'll be like, look, I just made this, I done that. And
you've always been good into like software and stuff. So I had sort of like a feeling you'd probably go into like a YouTube side, because even back in the day, you were making some YouTubes, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, a uni path came and all that shit changed. And but then eventually you ended up having your own YouTube and stuff. But then you learned one of the most like important skill in the lockdown, which was Amazon FBA. So how did that come across everything?
Amazon FBA, I started it because the first time I heard or saw a video on Amazon FBA was 2014. I saw it on a YouTube video where a guy was making money on Amazon. I'm like, holy crap, this sounds mad. I actually I tried opening an Amazon account, but because they asked for like driver's license, passport and everything, I couldn't because I was under 18. And because all of that credit card and everything, details and everything, I never had it. So I was like, yeah, this is not something I can do. So I let it go. And then 2020, it was popping in the sense like, yes, I was like, that kind of business model works with my lifestyle. It's like, I don't want to spend hours on shipping the product to customers, taking care of customer service, this and that. So I'm like, let's give it a try. Who knows? It might do well. Gave it a try for a few months, didn't work out. I saw no results. And then after a while, I went back. I was doing content at the same time. After a while, I was like, you know what? Let me actually try and put in some work. So I tried doing it again. I watched some YouTube videos, tried learning by myself, and I ordered my first product from Alibaba, which was a face mask case.
Oh, okay.
So that time face masks were popping, and I ordered it. Sent it to Amazon. Got a strike saying this is a private label listing and you can't sell on that. And I'm like, flip. So I just ordered a stock worth like £400, which I can't even sell. I'm like, okay, this is definitely not the best way to start. Let's keep going. Ordered my second product, which was more of a wholesale product. Still, until now, I've been learning on YouTube. Send that off to Amazon. £0 in sales. Nothing at all. And then my third product or fourth product, I don't remember exactly, was the product which actually made money. And I found it by accident. I was with one of the guys who has a business in like eyewear, and he gave me one of his kind of wipes. He's like, here, use this to kind of wipe your glasses. And I scanned it. I'm like, you know what? Let me scan this on Amazon. I'll show you how much this product is selling on Amazon. Scanned it. And it's like 2,000 times a month and only 4 sellers are selling it. And he's like, I have an account with the actual brand. So he can buy the product at the cheapest price, at a wholesale price. I'm like, yo, let's buy so many units. So we bought units of that product. We sent it off to Amazon. One day, all gone. And so that kind of be like, holy crap. So there is money to be made on Amazon. And that kind of started the Amazon journey for me. And then came learning from being mentored, and then doing my own Amazon journey, having my friends, and then again doing Amazon by myself. And so now it's like I've been doing Amazon for what? Technically almost 2 years now.
Almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And you also started creating your audience with the YouTube.
Yep.
And stuff. Now I'm known as
the Amazon FBA guys.
Yeah.
And then I also done the 50 FBA mentoring. And then I also tried Amzool, which I'm still trying to make it work in a different style, this and that. So still the Amazon guy. And I always think back, I'm like, okay, I want to do Amazon, but I don't want to be known as the Amazon guy. Like, I want to have a business which runs, which could be Amazon, could be something else, don't know. Like, for me, it's Amazon, obviously. Amazon's there, but I don't want to be known as the guy like, oh, this guy is the Amazon guy. Like I could just be known as the person in finance or the mindset guy.
So you started slowly rebranding yourself.
Yeah, start slowly rebranding, which is going to be a long game, and it's going to be a lot of work. And I feel like I need to accept that the Amazon factor is always going to be there. People will know me for the Amazon guy because I will still upload videos around Amazon. So that part of Amazon is always going to be there. But at the same time, I want people to know that to be successful at Amazon, even in business, the first part starts with your mind, which is your mindset, and then comes everything else. So kind of teaching more about mindset, growth mindset, and then habits, and what you should do and what you shouldn't do and stuff like that. So the whole goal is to help people become financially free, because I know when I was 19 years old, that was my goal, and I wanted to become financially free. So if I could help that 19-year-old now to actually achieve financial freedom with Amazon FBA or anything they want to do, that's my goal now from my content.
Yeah, I think now we have a lot of opportunity because of online world and stuff.
Exactly.
So, but people still, they struggle to see, where to do, how to manage your money. So in a way, it's good you obviously transitioned from, because you've experienced.
The thing is, I think now the content I want to create is more based on what I wish I was able to watch when I was 19, rather than me creating content in general. Like my last 3 videos, I created those videos, but who were they for? My 19-year-old wouldn't even watch those videos. He wouldn't even care about those videos. So those 3 videos was before I thought about this concept of like, okay, I'm making videos, but they're just for everyone. Now I just want to make video for that one person, and that is that 19-year-old me, to watch that video, and that video will help him get one step closer to his financial freedom goal.
So it's technically you teaching.
Me teaching my younger self. Exactly. And I know 100% there's so many of me who are 19-year-old in second year of uni and want to achieve financial freedom, or even first year of uni, and they just want to achieve financial freedom and retire their parents. I know there's so many of them. And I think if I can just make those videos for that one person, it will compound in itself, and YouTube will do its job and send it to the right people who that story belongs to.
And I think now like uni is a bit saturated. Like you don't really need uni to go become successful and all of that. So in a way, it's like, like you don't need a degree to join a job. Nowadays, you can always get those Google certificates, this and that, and then join Upwork. You can have your freelancing, work, which is you can do on your own time and stuff. So that's something
that's true
they can pick. But when you mentioned Amzool.
Yes.
Amzool, so tell us what it is and stuff.
So Amzool, when we first started, or when I first got that idea, was at 11 o'clock at night, and I was thinking of, I don't remember what I was doing, but I think I was making a video around Snoop, which we worked with. It was a money management app. And while I was thinking of that, I came across this idea of, how about a tool which can be your assistant when it comes to starting your Amazon FBA business. And so that was the whole kind of thing about Amzool. And I sent it to Sumit I'm like, yo, this is the idea. And he's like, bro, he's like, because just before that idea, I sent him something else. And he's like, where are you getting these ideas from? And I'm like, I don't know right now. My mind is open to some different dimensions. So I don't know. I don't remember why I wrote to him. But that's when the whole Amzool thing started. And then the next day, I decided to go on Upwork, get a team of people. So I got a project manager, front-end dev, back-end dev, and a graphic designer. And then I had yourself as well to manage that project. And we ended up getting the whole kind of what we want, how we want it to look. But when it came to actually building it, that's when the problem started to happen, because the devs were not qualified to do that. They were just sitting there and eating my money around. In total, we were paying like $2,000 a week, which was around, I think, 1.5 grand a week.
Probably more than that.
Probably more. So that's like, in like 6 months' time, we had spent like 20K or something, or 25,000 pounds.
In 6 months, I would say, because I was doing all the sheets and stuff, right? The calculation stuff, we could say we spent around 32 grand. So
around 32,000, which is a enormous number, because you can buy a property with that price as well in the UK. But once that happened, my my hopes for Amzool were collapsing day by day. I was like, maybe it's not going to work out. Maybe it was just a thing which I had to try out and go through for me to learn other lessons, which was like, maybe you could have done your research a lot more and spent a lot more time in this rather than just thinking, oh, you can get dev, this and that, and everything like that. You can do that. So I learned those things. But then after we paused it, which was, I think, November-ish or September after I came back from India, we paused it. We were like, okay, maybe the Amzool books are closed and maybe I will get back to it in the future. And that was the plan until I recently was like, okay, Amzool, maybe it was a test for me to go through that phase. And if I now fail this, so I've come to a point where I've closed the books of Amzool, but it was not supposed to be closed. Maybe that was a test I went through, the biggest test of my life. If I failed that test, I would have not seen any success with Amzool. But if I pass that test, maybe I can see some success. So I was like, okay, I spoke to one of my old mates, Connor. He's into building softwares and building tech. It came in my mind at night. I was like, who can advise me more on like whether this is a project I should ever continue with and this and that. And I was like, oh shoot, I had a guy called Connor on my podcast back in 2020 and he was a good friend as well. I had met him. So I started speaking with him and everything. And when I had a conversation, it was outside your house. When you were inside your house, I came to pick you up. It was outside your house.
Okay.
And we were speaking about, okay, I told him the entire kind of tool and what the tool does, this and that. And he asked me, he's like, what problem are you trying to solve? And I'm like, oh, I'm just building a software which can help people do product research, product analysis, and in the future I can do this and that. He's like, okay. He's like, that is not defined and it's not a small problem. The next day he actually showed me how much Jungle Scout and Helium has got in funding. Over 100 million in funding. He's like, the product you're trying to build requires millions and millions in funding. So forget about what you want to be at. Don't try and be the next Jungle Scout, because to do that, you need to get this much money in funding. Helium has been acquired by a company which is worth billion.
Yeah.
And Jungle Scout is currently, like, they have got that many users, but they've already spent 112 million. 112 million into this. And that gave me a big shift in terms of like, okay, cool. The thing I was trying to build, maybe it's not what I should continue, but maybe I should go up. And also, so another thing he also said is like, you spend £35,000 before even testing the product.
Yeah.
Like testing with the audience. Like how stupid can you get? It's like, you decided, oh, I'm going to spend £100,000 and then I'm going to put the product out there and think people are going to use it. It's like, even to be an MVP, you don't need to spend that much. To try out your product, you first have to go to the most one basic problem which you can solve. A core problem of your product. And I'm like, okay, the core thing about the Amzool was to help people make money with Amazon. That was the core. How do I break it even now? What is one way I can make them make money? And that was retail arbitrage. So I was like, okay, why not build Amzool as the version 1 of Amzool, mainly to give a community of like-minded people, have an academy on that. And thirdly, I can provide some type of arbitrage deals. So we can have handpicked deals through softwares like Jungle Scout and this and that. And every week there would be deals sent into that subscription as well. Or maybe people who have subscribed, they can either get individual or they can have like a page where they can just go and scroll and they will see deals, whichever deal they like. They can purchase that deal, send it off to Amazon and make money. I'm like, okay, this can be version 1 of Amzool. So now I'm working more towards that. But even now, there are a few obstacles I would come up with, be like, okay, but like the deals are so difficult to find sometimes as well, to find good deals. Because there's so many products out there right now which technically say they have like 1,000 deals. But when you go through them, you hardly find any good deals. So I'm trying to figure out a way where the deals are good, that when people subscribe to it, they're not just there for 1 month and then leaving it. The whole goal is that if they pay $49 a month, in return, they're at least able to make like $150, $200 or $250, and it's mainly targeted for parents or like a 30-year-old parent who wants to make extra $250 or £300 a month, which can help them kind of support in other stuff they are doing and stuff like that. So that's the kind of new journey of Amzool, which kind of is going to be the path it will take. But again, software or something else. So
I
you
think
never know.
it was like when I joined you, and it was something new to me as well. So I was like, okay, I get to like manage stuff and people and stuff. But yeah, we had like our vision was a bit way too high.
Yeah.
And you know, we expected, oh, we're gonna have this and that, but we
Yep.
forgot the basic part. And I think the reason was because you wanted to build the tool all by yourself. That's why, because I remember I mentioned you one time that you do know we need more funding to this stuff, and you were like, no, because I want to do it myself, something that comes from me. So I was like, okay, let's try it. And obviously, because it was your vision, I was like, cool, full support, we'll go. But obviously, it turned out something else.
Yeah.
The way we wanted.
And
so
the whole thing I was trying to think is like, I was like, until the MVP, I won't need a lot of money. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I can do it by myself. Maybe after MVP, I can see if we need more money, we'll try and figure out. But that was the kind of goal. And I was like, the reason why it will work best is because people who do the mentoring, they will need a software product to research, so they can utilize that product rather than paying Jungle Scout a lot more money. They can get my product for cheaper and do the same thing. That was the kind of whole vision. But I think the sense of like maybe it required a lot more money than we thought was definitely one factor to it. But secondly, I also think it was not about the money. It was more about the people we hired.
Yeah.
So when I speak to like Connor, I could have got the same MVP built, or not same actually, because that will still cost a basic version of that MVP. I could have got it for like 10, 20K done, and it would be in a set time because he's got more experience. I could have kind of got more knowledge from his lessons. So I could have done that, but I think a lesson to be learned from me.
I think the difference was because we created our vision, and then you hired people from separate things, right?
Yep.
So they were just like, yeah, we just help you in it, because they're not the one like a company together. So that's
an agency would have been better for
so if it was agency, they would have like broken you down basically, but obviously it would cost you a lot more. So in a way, I guess it was all part of the lesson. And you start slowly picking it up again, the Amzool.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I'm not trying to spend a lot more time. I'm trying to spend time every now and then. But I do have ADHD. If people don't know what that is, it's basically a thing about moving from one thing to another. It's too quick. And it's something which, even if I say, oh, I'm going to be better, it's a thing within us. And so I do keep getting the urges, but this time I'm not a lot more like, oh, I'm going to go all in. And like, no, none of those stuff. Still trying to think, okay, I need to make sure that I need to get the 20% work done, which can give me the 80% output, which is doing my usual stuff, making content, doing the usual things. But I'm still trying to spend a bit time on my passion projects like Amzool. It was technically a passion project, which I started.
Yeah. You could say, but it was like sort of, it was all lined up. Like you could say it was perfectly lined up. If it worked out, everything.
If it worked out, it would have been the best. Yeah. It would have been the project which I think would have, like if you think logically, everything aligned well. We had everything to even get users, everything. But I think it was supposed to not happen for some reason, which we might find out in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, once we're sitting on a pile of stack. But anyways.
Yeah.
That's a long way to go anyways. But I can see like a lot of things have changed about you. So how has your perspective like changed about life from the past to now?
That's a interesting question. From past, I would say, I think after 2020, when I came into 2021, I realized I became very, what's the word mainly for, like not listening to myself. I know it all. I became arrogant in that sense. I felt like in 2021 I felt that, and after end of 2021 I realized that I don't know everything. And by I don't know everything, I don't mean talking to people, I mean reading books and everything. Like I stopped reading books and everything. I was like, oh, I know if this book has this, I know everything from this book, so this book is similar, so I don't need to read, I don't need to do that. And I stopped consuming a lot of content. And so then I became less knowledge in the sense of what I'm doing and this and that. And I realized that if I ever want to keep growing in anything I do, I need books relevant to that field so that I can get some knowledge from experts within that field. So 2022 has been more of like a learning year, because after 2021, I started to kind of take a step back and be like, okay, I need to figure out myself in this. I need to make sure I do this. I make sure to do this. And I just started doing a lot more work again. It's like I'm back to how I was of like reading, doing my daily kind of journaling, being consistent with meditation, trying my best to be consistent with meditation. And also one other stuff was I became I started giving a damn about people's opinion. Now I don't give a damn again. Like, if you're telling me something, on the road I'm walking down and someone approaches me and everything and says something, I don't give a damn about that. If it's a positive, negative, I don't care. When I started my journey, I got to where I am today because of the way like that time I never gave a damn about how a person would think about me as well, like that. So now I'm going more in that sense. But in life in general, I think I realized life is long. Before I used to think by this age I need to achieve everything, but now I realize that life is long and one step at a time, and every day I'm learning. Like, for example, I asked this question to Yatrik, but I asked myself the same question, but like, if tomorrow I had everything I wanted to achieve, then what? Then there is no chaos in my life. And when there's no chaos, there's no stability. I can't even pronounce that word, but I don't have that in life. So I think life is always going to keep throwing me challenges, and now it's a lot more challenging than it was back then. But I think we keep moving.
Did you ever feel like because you're all in self-improvement stuff, how much of a self-aware are you about yourself?
So one thing about me is in 2020 and after 2020, I'll again go back to in 2020. I was thinking I was self-aware, but I wasn't. I was more like being arrogant to myself. So I would stop doing the normal things. Like I would say certain things and I would not go back and think about what I just said. Like if I said a negative stuff, I wouldn't take that into consideration. And so I was like, okay, I need to again take a moment and kind of understand every single word I'm saying as well. So now when I'm saying certain words or doing certain things, if I say a negative word, I go back and try and understand, okay, why did I say this? And so I'm bringing those small changes back again. I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I'm definitely a lot more self-aware about things which I do in a certain way, why I do it and everything. A lot more now compared to what it was before. But I think I'm still getting there.
I would say I had a similar journey. Like I started having like self-awareness. Like you could say it's been quite a long time now. Like everything I do, I'm like, wait, why did I just do that? Like what was the reason behind it and stuff? And then I remember anyways, that was a quick break. Couldn't handle it anymore. But yeah. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, you know?
Yes, please. We need 1,000 subs.
Yes. But anyways, after all that talk, I've created a few questions for you. It's called Get to Know Jain at a Deeper Level Questions.
So technically,
a bit more
rebranding of Inspired Mind Deep Questions.
Yeah, but these are completely different.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
I'm excited.
So, yeah. So, my first question is, when you feel low / unmotivated, what do you do to lift yourself up?
I'm good with talking to people. I would tell people that, look, I don't feel the greatest right now. It does show vulnerability, and I've learned that sometimes it's not good to share, but most of the times it's good to share about how you're feeling. And I would also take a break. If I'm not feeling, before I would not take a break. I would be like, oh no, you can't take a break. You have to keep going no matter how you're feeling. But now, if I'm in that phase, I will just tell myself, leave everything, leave whatever you're doing, just take a break. So that's kind of the new Jatz.
Okay. So, what was your dream job?
It was actually a teacher. I wouldn't say it's a dream job, but I asked myself that question when I was in uni. I'm like, before going to uni. I don't know when exactly the time frame, but I did ask myself, like, what do I want to become, or what will I do after finishing uni? And it was becoming a teacher back at Alperton.
Yeah, could have, lots of kids would have.
Because I like teaching. And so now I just do teaching through videos, but that's me.
Okay. If you could change one thing about yourself right now, what would it be?
There's few things, but I think one of them would be not being ADHD. So not being a person who switches from one thing to another too quick, or like 1 week I would want this, 1 week I would want that. Maybe that is one thing.
I think we could add dyslexia.
Dyslexic. I spoke about this in the last podcast I went to. I'm proud of that thing because that's allowed me to do some things in different way. So dyslexia is definitely a lot harder as a content creator because reading and stuff like that. But I think
I feel like I'm also catching it slowly. Like, but I type something and I miss a single word out and it's just completely different sentence. So I can relate to that. It's no problem. By what age do you want to achieve your end goal by?
So before it used to be 30, I wanted to achieve it. I wanted to be financially free by 30. Technically, I've achieved that goal. But what age do I want to be done with everything by? I don't know what the definition of like that done is. Before it used to be just like not having to work a day and I would still make enough money to keep having my lifestyle I want. But now I don't have that goal. Because if by 30 I do achieve everything, then what? I do like to have goals in the sense of like, yes, by like about my vision for my brand, Jatz Naran, is to impact 10 million people overall across all my platforms. I haven't set a date on that to achieve when I want to achieve that goal by. Because one thing I learned with this kind of end goal is that once you have it and you reach there, it's the worst thing. Is then what happens? So whole thing is like I just want to consistently keep making a certain amount of money every single year that will allow me to have the lifestyle I want and keep doing the stuff I love doing. Like if I would like making videos, I'll keep making that till I'm 60. It doesn't have to end somewhere.
No, it wasn't about obviously ending something, but it was about achieving your accomplishments which you wanted to basically and having that cash flow, like constant cash flow and everything, you know.
In that sense, 30 is always going to be like the age where I would like, okay, before 30, ideally I would want to have like £100,000 a month, which is a lot every single month coming in. Well, I say a lot, but in my mind now it's more like I don't try and perceive it as big as I wanted to, as it is basically. But yeah, 30 I would say. Okay. But even after that, I will still be working and doing stuff.
No, yeah, I mean, obviously, because once you have all that stuff and if you don't do anything, it's just like, I have this money, but what am I doing anymore? Like,
so that's what I was trying to say. Is like, I'll still keep doing others. I'll get bored as hell and I'll probably die.
Exactly. Okay. If you could swap life with anyone for 24 hours, who would it be and why?
Alex Hormozy. So I can experience that, how much having 100 million means, or more than 100, making 13 million a month, how it feels. And then when I come back to this, I know that it doesn't feel as it's what it's supposed to feel. So then I don't have to keep chasing that, I need to hit that number so then I can feel it and do the reverse. So yeah, don't know why, but that's a weird answer. But I guess this money thing can go away from my life after that.
Why not Bill Gates then?
It doesn't relate more to me. I don't want to have a billion. I think one thing I have told myself in life is that I don't want to earn a billion because you can't have a normal life after that. If you're a billionaire, you can't relate to people anymore as well. So I think the max, my entire life, if I ever, in my head, I don't even know if I will reach that, it's like 100 million. Making 100 million,
that's your mark, basically.
That's my mark. Yeah. Okay. But an amount I want to make every year is like 10 million.
Okay.
Yeah. That's like the big numbers, which I'm talking about now.
Yeah. I mean, like Andrew Tate said that it was like, once you hit like, I think 36 million is something mark you need to achieve, like have everything, mansions to cars and everything. After that, it's just nothing, basically.
Exactly. Then it becomes a piece of
it's just, you have like, money.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, on to the next one. It's a, you could say, bonus one. What if you had a chilling job? Do you think you would be here today?
I think I still would be, because no matter what the job was, after reading the books, I just see, my main thing is like my parents. Like, that's the main thing. I knew a job will never let me retire them, because it will hardly make me make enough to earn to live, to pay off my expenses. But I think the part about like, I always want to retire my parents, that's constant with me. So I think that's what would have been with me, even if it was a chill job or even if it was a normal job. My job sometimes was chill, but I still wanted to just be like, okay, how do I do something of my own?
Okay, great. On that note, that's all I had with the questions.
Great.
Get to know deeper question. Wait, what? Get to know Jatin at a deeper level. But anyways, guys, if you did enjoy, like and subscribe. And if you don't, then you won't see me in the next podcast. So yeah.
Thank you for hosting the podcast and podcasting me on this podcast. Bro, the tongue twisters in these lines are incredible.
Man, this was nerve-wracking.
But it was a great podcast. Thank you. And I'll see you all in the next podcast, most likely on the other side again.
Yeah. Well, thank you for allowing me to do this, because it was definitely, it looks easy, but it's not.
I know.
So
I know exactly what you're going through on that side of the thing.
Yeah.
And that's why what you've done is great.
Well, this is something was out of comfort zone side. Oh, you know what? I'll just do it. Who cares? I'll do it. So please have some mercy on me. If you don't, I still don't care.